Let's talk about your daily routine. That coffee you drink, the phone you use. We're going to peel back the layers and uncover a hidden history that connects them all. A story that's been shaping our world for more than 1,000 years.
I mean, seriously, think about your day. The coffee that gets you going, the phone that's practically glued to your hand, the very numbers that run our entire digital world. We just assume they've always been here, right? But what if I told you a huge chunk of their origin story comes from a time and a place most of us were taught to just skip over?
Okay, so check this out. These words right here, they sent an engineer and historian named Professor Salim al-Hassani on a mission. He'd been told there was this 1,000-year gap in scientific history, a dark age where everything just stopped. But what he found was that's not true at all. It wasn't a gap. It was a golden age of innovation, and the proof was just sitting there waiting to be read in Arabic manuscripts.
So where do you even start? How do you begin to uncover a history that's been so, forgotten in so many parts of the world?
Well, our guide on this journey is a project called 1001 Inventions. It's this amazing global effort to bring this hidden history into the light. And it shows how this civilization, stretching all the way from Spain to China, wasn't just holding on to old knowledge. No, it was a total hotbed of invention that literally shaped the world we live in today. And this is the part that gets really cool. This isn't just a bunch of ancient history. This stuff is woven right into the fabric of our lives. The 1001 Inventions Project breaks it down perfectly. You can find its influence everywhere. In your home, at school, at the market, the hospital, even in the way our cities are designed. We're just going to look at a few examples today. To really see how deep these roots go, let's start with something we all know really well, your morning routine.
Yeah, that first cup, the ritual that kickstarts the day for millions of us. Ever wonder where that actually came from?
Well, the story of coffee as we know it really gets going in the Middle East around the 9th century. It started in Ethiopia and Yemen and just exploded in popularity. This led to the world's very first coffee houses. And get this, they weren't just places to grab a drink. They were called schools of the wise, places for chess, debate, music, all kinds of intellectual exchange. That whole social ritual is what eventually spread across the planet. So yeah, that latte you're drinking, it has a very long and very smart history.
Okay, so after your coffee, maybe you do what we all do. You grab your phone and snap a picture of something. That simple little act, it also has roots stretching back 1,000 years. Way back in the 11th century, this incredible scholar, Ibn al-Haytham, completely changed how we understand light. See, people used to think our eyes shot out rays to see things. He was the first to prove, no, we see because light enters our eyes. And to prove it, he built the first camera obscura, which is basically a pinhole camera. The exact same principles he discovered are what make the little camera in your pocket work today. Crazy, right?
So, we've seen how this history is in the physical things in our homes. But what about the ideas that structure our world? The very way we learn and share information.
This era saw the birth of some truly groundbreaking places for learning. You had places like the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. Think massive, state-funded libraries that pulled in scholars from all over the world. Then, in Morocco, a woman named Fatima al-Fahiri founded the world's first university that could actually grant degrees, all the way back in 859 AD. It created the whole model for organized education, with different faculties and libraries, a model that later shaped the great universities in Europe.
And here's the really crucial part. These weren't just passive archives, dusty places where books went to be forgotten. They were dynamic, living engines of discovery. Scholars would translate texts from Greek, Indian, and Persian, but they didn't just copy them. They would critique them, correct them, and build on them, creating totally new fields of study, everything from algebra to sociology.
All right, now for a connection that might really surprise you. We're going to leap from ancient libraries straight to the heart of modern technology. Code breaking and computers.
Have you ever heard of frequency analysis? It's basically a foundational idea in classic cryptography in code breaking. And it was invented in the 9th century by this brilliant guy named Al-Kindi.
What's so amazing about Al-Kindi's method is how elegantly simple it is. He had this key insight. In any language, some letters just show up more often than others, like how E is the most common letter in English. So to break a code, you just count the symbols in the secret message. The symbol that appears the most, it's probably an E, and you just go down the list from there. It was a revolutionary way to systematically analyze information.
And this is a quote directly from his work on how to decipher coded messages. You could just hear the systematic analytical mind working. I mean, this is the scientific method being applied to information itself over 1,000 years ago.
This code-breaking stuff is incredible, for sure. But the most profound contribution from this entire era to our digital world might be something you learned in, like, kindergarten.
The numbers we use every single day, what we call Arabic numerals, were brought to Europe by Muslim scholars. And the most revolutionary part of that system was the concept of zero. It wasn't just a number, it was a placeholder that made all of modern math possible. So, what's the fundamental language of every single computer, every smartphone, all the software on Earth? It's binary code, a language written entirely in ones and zeros, a system that's just impossible to even imagine without the foundation they laid.
So when you start connecting these dots, you really start to see it. This legacy is everywhere. It's the foundation that so much of our modern world was actually built on.
From the astronomical tools that helped kick off the age of exploration, to surgical tools like the syringe and forceps that are still used today, to the very numbers and ideas we use to build our world, this heritage isn't some historical footnote. It's part of the operating system of modern civilization.
So you see, this isn't about rewriting history. It's about completing it. It's about finally fitting this huge missing piece back into the puzzle, recognizing 1,000 years of brilliant, world-changing innovation that's been hiding in plain sight all along.
And that kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? If this much of our past has been overlooked, what other hidden histories, what other ideas and inventions are still out there, quietly shaping the world we live in right now? What else is just waiting to be rediscovered?